Some of the most common truths in game development are the very things holding you back. And if you believe in them, they can cost you years. So let's pull them apart piece by piece so you can avoid the traps most devs fall into. And let's start with lie number 1. It's a beautiful lie. Make a great game, release it, and the audience will just appear. We want to believe that quality wins on its own. But what actually plays out is a dev spends 2, 3, sometimes 5 years in silence. They polish every detail, perfect every corner of the game world. Finally, release day comes, they hit publish, and almost nothing happens. No big wave of players, no algorithm boost, just trickle of sales and a slow fade into obscurity. It's not because the game is bad, it's because no one knows it exists. Platforms like Steam, itch, and YouTube aren't discovery engines, they're amplifiers. They push games after they already gained traction. If nobody is playing them, the system quietly buries you. That's why you can't afford to disappear into the dev cave. While you're building, start leaving breadcrumbs, GIFs, short clips, playable snippets even, that highlight the thing that makes your game stand out. Not just here's another update, but post designed to spark curiosity. If you want to build the audience before launch, you give the algorithm something to work with. And with that, we come to lie number 2. This one kills more careers than bad reviews. You think, if I'm going to spend years on something, it should be my magnum opus. So you dive straight into your massive open world, your fully custom engine, your branching story with 10 endings. The first 6 months are magic. You build the game you always wanted, the cracks start to show. You rewrite entire systems, the art backlog is a nightmare, every milestone slips. One day you open the project, stare at it for an hour and close it without touching a thing. I've seen this pattern dozens of times. The problem isn't ambition here, it's sequence. The games you love were made by teams with years of pipeline experience. You're trying to replicate this mountain peak without learning how to hike. Instead, treat your first few projects as a training ground. Pick scopes you can actually finish, maybe 2-month prototypes, 6 months small games. Each one teaches you something. Asset pipelines, balance, marketing. By the time you return to your dream game, you'll be equipped to finish it, not just to start it. Number 3 is, if the game feels flat, you can just add another mechanic, a crafting system, 10 more enemies. You think you're fixing the problem, but you're actually burying it. I once playtested a game with so many overlapping systems, I couldn't tell what was important. The dev added feature after feature. Hopping on one would make the core loop fun, it didn't work. Because the problem wasn't content, it was the basic moment-to-moment gameplay, and it wasn't satisfying. Adding is more easy, it feels more productive, you can point to a new menu, new map, and say, look, progress. But without a strong core, all the extra stuff is just noise, so before you add, play only the most essential version of your game. If that doesn't hook you, no feature list will save it. Once your loop is solid, you can add more. Knowing every piece supports the heart of the game, instead of smothering it. Number 4 is that we all have been told to avoid premature polish. And yes, if you spend a month perfecting a tree texture before you have gameplay, that's a total waste, but swinging too far the other way is just as bad. I've seen builds where the core systems were solid, but everything else felt wrong. Floaty movement, lifeless sound, zero feedback. Testers quit in minutes, convinced the game was bad. What they didn't know was under all the rough edges there was something good. Polish isn't just about pretty art, it's about feel. How responsive are your controls? How satisfying are sounds when you hit something? How quickly does the game react to player input? If those things aren't placed in early, you will never get successful feedback, because people will quit before they see a real game. So pick your feel critical elements and make them really shine. Movement, core interactions, sound cues, get those to a point where someone wants to keep playing. Section 5 is that launch day feels like the finish line. This applies in AAA games maybe. For indies? Absolutely not. Treat launch day as the start to your public life cycle, not the end. Too many devs I see push everything into day one. Trailers, streams, community events, and then they vanish. 2 weeks later, sales flatline. They think their game failed, when they really just didn't plan for the long tail. For smaller games, the biggest spikes often come later, when an update drops, a streamer picks it up, or a sale pushes it in front of new eyes. If you got nothing ready for those moments, you can't take advantage of them. So before you launch, have at least 2 post-release moves locked in. A new mode, a big content drop, a community challenge, something that gives people a reason to return. But game development is full of advice that sounds good on the surface but only works if you actually understand the problem underneath. That's where I use Brilliant. Brilliant helps you become a better thinker and problem solver with thousands of interactive visual lessons in math, science, and even programming and AI. What I really like about Brilliant is that it doesn't just hand you information. It makes you test it, play with it, and discover how things actually work. For me, that has been way more valuable than memorizing advice because it builds the kind of intuition I rely on when I'm debugging code or designing new systems. And the best part is, these lessons are genuinely fun, so they make learning an easy habit to learn. And if you want to try it out, head over to brilliant.org/overload or scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description. Everybody who uses my link gets 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited access to all their courses. Big thanks for Brilliant for supporting and sponsoring this channel, and now let's get back into some of the most common myths in game development and why they can waste so much time. Tip number 6. The game will speak for itself is what you think. It's a nice thought that players will just get your game on site, but the truth is, most players will give you seconds, not minutes, to convince them. I've lost counts of how many store pages left me thinking, okay, but what does it actually do? No matter how good the game is, if you can't communicate the hook instantly, you're invisible. Players don't have the context you have. They don't know the backstory, the mechanics, the twists. You're saving them for later. They see a thumbnail, a GIF, a line of text, and that's all you get. So, get that one sentence pitch clear, concrete, and immediately intriguing. Once you have that, repeat it everywhere. Your trailer, your page, your socials. If the pitch clicks, they will just stick around for the rest as well. Tip number 7. Most people think hard work always equals success. This one is dangerous because it feels noble. We all love the idea of pouring everything into our game will guarantee a win. But the industry doesn't work like that. I've seen devs burn out after years of 80-hour weeks, only to watch their game vanish in days. Not because they didn't try, but because they aimed their effort at the wrong things. The truth is, hard work really matters. Pour your effort into them. But hard work only matters if you're working on the right problems. It's about leverage. So ask yourself, if I dropped this task today, would players even notice? If the answer is no, it's not where you should go with your game dev project. Number 8. Lies are comfortable. They make the path seem simple. But you're not here for comfort, right? You're here because you want to make something real, something that survives, and show your work to other people. Every indie success you admire was made by someone who learned to spot these traps early and step around them. They didn't just work hard, they worked smart. They learned from failure and they finished, and you really can do too. But you've got to play the long game, face the uncomfortable truths, and act on them. Work yourself towards the right goals. But knowing the truth is only half the battle. The real challenge is acting on it consistently. Most devs watching videos like this nod along and then nothing changes. The project opens, the same habits kick in, and before you know it, you're back to polishing the wrong thing or adding a feature nobody asked for. That's why I want you to try something differently. Pick one thing from this video, just one single thing, and act on it today. Not next month, not after this one thing is done, today. If your hook is weak, rewrite it. Test it on a stranger. If your core loop is shaky, strip the game down a bit and fix it before you touch anything else. If you've been silent online, post the short clip that actually shows why your game's worth caring about. These are small moves, but they create momentum, and momentum compounds. Every meaningful change makes the next one easier. Every public post you make is easier for people to follow your journey. And every cut feature frees up time for what matters. That's how indie devs you admire got there. Not through a lucky break, but through a series of small, smart decisions made over months or years. Decisions that make them keep moving forward even though nothing felt like it was working. So here's my challenge. Before the day ends, pick your one thing and make it happen. Stack those wins. Next time you watch a video like this, you won't just nod along. You will already be ahead of where you were today. And if you want to see how I take all these principles and break them down in a hit indie game, showing you exactly what to copy and what to avoid, subscribe now so you don't miss it. And while you're at it, wishlist Treasure Drift in the description below. So, what's the biggest lie you believed in when you started? Drop it in the comments, I might feature yours in the teardown. And with that, I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.